Welcome to today's land auction via AuctionCast, the most informative method to buy and sell land at auction. I'm your host, Tyler Tishy with Land Pros, and on my left, I have Keith Allen of Allen Seeds. Keith, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Hi, thank you for that, Tyler. My name is Keith Allen. I am the owner of Allen Seed Source. We are a supplier of seed and seed and products and services to farmers in the local area and up here in southeastern Minnesota. And I basically do analytical work with people, help them break down soil tests, and just help farmers make better decisions when it comes to their land. So.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what you end up breaking this farm down with today.
Yeah.
So on my right here, I have Craig Borchard with Ascent Financial. Craig, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. My name's Craig Borchard, and at Ascent Financial, we help farmers, analyze financial matters and help them with advise on transactions and help them develop transition plans and estate plans.
Well, I can't wait for the breakdown that you have on this farm as well. So today we're going to be selling the Shetler Farm. This is 80 acres located in Barton County, Missouri. This is one tract with an NCCPI of 68.4. But before we get started, what we like to do is a land market update. And for those of you who aren't familiar, this is where we try to keep you up to date as far as what the market is doing, how it's trending, so we can keep both buyers and sellers alike informed better. So our first one we have today is in Sioux County, Iowa. This is 45 acres, and it's sold for $23,750 per acre. And next, a little bit further east, in Benton County, Iowa, we have 76 acres, and it's sold for $21,300 per acre. Now, these are two sales from the state of Iowa, but great sales. I know those sales are good sales that are still trending upwards. They definitely have not seen this market come down at all right now. The next, we're back in Missouri. We got Ray County, Missouri here with 105 deeded acres, and it sold for $19,100 per acre. Great sale in Ray County. Next, we're in Audrain County, Missouri with 41 acres. It sold for $11,100 per acre. And back in Audrain again, and this is 99 acres. It sold for $12,100 per acre. So the market is still not slowing down. This is what I'm seeing from this entire thing is that there's, and even, when I talk to, when people call me, asking about the market, I'm telling them the same thing, that, despite economic conditions, maybe a little bit higher interest rates, farm sales are still going up. They're still trending upwards. They have not slowed down in any way, shape, or form.
And I think you take a look at these numbers, and I'm hearing it from my customers as we're looking through land. I mean, I think a lot of this is being tied back to high commodity prices. Yeah. There's good consistency. There's the potential for decent profitability out there, and I think a lot of producers, in my experience, have gotten to the point where they really want to own something as opposed to renting it anymore.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's an investment piece, and you just can't get a much better investment piece. And
I know we're going to get back into it because we're going to be talking to Craig here in a little bit about why it's such a good investment all at the same time too, because we all know they're not making any more land anymore, and the prices have continually to go up over year after year after year. So great investments as well. So anyways, what we want to do is welcome all of our online bidders and point out a few things to all of our viewers. Make sure you are aware of the documents online that are posted about the farm. They're located on the Documents tab. And if at any time you would like to bid by phone, have any technical issues, or have a question, please call the number on your screen. We have our auction manager, Brady Bradley, ready to answer your questions and take your bids over the phone via text or email. Now we have a short video from our auction manager, Brady Bradley, and go into further details about this farm.
Welcome to AuctionCast, powered by Land Pros. We're here today to talk about the Shetler Farm, and I want to introduce you to the auction manager, Brady Bradley. He is our local land expert in southwestern Missouri. So Brady, how you doing today?
Doing great, Brian. How are y'all?
Hey, excellent. Thank you. Great day for an auction, huh?
Oh, it's always a great day for an auction.
I want to know a little bit more information. I want to share with our viewers today what you can tell us about this farm here.
So this farm, first off, wanted to thank Mr. Shetler for the opportunity to represent him on this transaction. It's a beautiful farm, beautiful area. Specifically for the farm, it's in Section 8, Township 33, Range 29 in the Milford Township, northeast Barton County, located in southwest Missouri. This is a very good area, great opportunity since there aren't just a ton of farms hitting the market in this area with good tillable ground on it. And as you'll see, some of the numbers we'll give today, some of the specifics, this ground's already producing above average for the county. 85% of the farm is open ground. That's open ground, tillable ground. 55 acres is currently planted in wheat. which is ready to be harvested this summer, 2023.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how are we handling that wheat crop for our prospective new buyers here looking to buy this farm.
Perfect. So this farm produced pretty good last year, despite the drought-like conditions that we had. It was planted in soybeans, produced 55 bushels per acre. And the county average is roughly 41. In 2021, the county average was 41 bushels per acre. The wheat harvest, that's going to be split. There's a current tenant that has 2/3 of that wheat, but the sellers are willing to give that other third to the new owner.
Great. Well, that sounds good. Why don't we talk a little bit about the local area, grain markets, grain outlets? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that area of Barton County?
You're looking at 20 minutes max to local grain elevators, top quality grain elevators in the area. The property sits on a blacktop road, so it's easy in and out, and you're less than 3-4 miles to a state highway. So you don't have to worry about going over, heavy loads over, small bridges or any of that. You've got easy access in and out in multiple different directions, north, south, whichever way you want to go to the local grain elevators.
Is there anything else you'd like to add today about the farm that we should inform our viewers and our prospective buyers about?
Yeah. There's one thing I'd like to add, just sticking with, good etiquette here, wanting to disclose everything about the farm. There is a deed restriction that does convey with the sale of this farm that was placed on the property before the current owner purchased it. And it's limiting big commercial farming operations such as hog operations, big poultry farms. The previous owner used to live close to the property, and that was something that she was just trying to eliminate. She didn't want that across the road from her house. But this isn't it's not trying to limit your typical, tillable, your typical farmer. It's just for large industry corporations, that they just didn't want to see it on the area. And most of the individuals, I think, purchasing this farm are going to want the tillable ground aspect of it. That's really where the property shines.
Okay. Well, that's great. Thank you. We are now going to turn to Greg Jensen, our auctioneer, and he's going to go over the terms and conditions here of today's auction, and then we're going to get this auction started.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to the auction sale here today. It's our pleasure to be offering this really good piece of ground for the Shetler farm, for the Shetler family. We're going to go over the terms and the conditions. We're going to talk a little bit about the auction. And if you have any questions, you can call the number that was on the screen, or we will answer your questions to the best of our ability. We're selling 80 acres. That's deeded acres. We're going to sell it by the deeded acre. The NCCPI is 68.4, really a good soil type, 85% tillable open ground. It's a variety of incoming streams. We've got a blacktop access, wet weather creek. We got good timber, 20 minutes to Lamar, Missouri, 30 minutes to Stockton, 60 minutes to Joplin, Missouri. Really, really good piece. If you want to look at your next page there, or on the brochure or online, all of the soil types, you can see that there are 64.4 tillable acres. And of course, we're going to go over the soil types in a little bit. I'm going to read you the terms and the conditions. The method of sale is bidding will be dollars per deeded acre unless otherwise indicated by the auctioneer. We are going to do dollars per deeded acre today. Deeded acres may change because of the survey or other factors, in which case a total sales price would be adjusted to reflect that. Sellers reserve the right to accept or reject any or all bids. The auction company and seller reserve the right to preclude any person from bidding if there is any concern as to the person's credentials or fitness to bid or enter into a contract. Land Pros Real Estate and AuctionCast and its agents represent the sellers. The 2023 taxes will be paid by the buyer, and of course the taxes in 2022 have already been paid by the seller. The sale is subject to any easement, restrictions of records, covenants, and leases. Each bidder is responsible for conducting their own inquiries, due diligence efforts, at their own risk concerning the subject property. All property is sold as is, where is, with no warranties. Contract and title. Immediately upon the conclusion of the auction, the highest winning bidder will enter into a real estate contract purchase agreement and provide funds for earnest money to be deposited with the real estate and auction company. Seller will provide updated abstract or owner's title policy and clear title at their expense. Sale is not contingent upon buyer's financing. Closing will be on or before February 28, 2023, and that closing will take place at McFadden Land and Title Company in Missouri. The terms here today buyer shall have possession at closing, cash or loan of earnest money in the amount of $40,000 down today. No financing contingent upon acceptance. Buyers to verify proof of funds or adequate financing prior to the sale for the listing agent. Any statement made day of auction takes precedence over previous material. All information provided herein was obtained from sources deemed reliable, but neither the auction company or the seller guarantee their accuracy. I'm going to go over some other additional things that we want to talk about here today. The shooting houses and the stands do not convey to the new buyer. The wheat crop is a 1/3, 2/3 crop share. 1/3 will go to the new buyer. Buyer to pay all real estate taxes in 2023. Like I said, we will close at McFadden Land and Title, $40,000 earnest money. I think I've kind of covered it, but if you have any questions, feel free to call the number on the screen, and we will answer all your questions. I think are we ready to start? I believe we're ready to go. We have several starting bids here this morning. That's what I really like that. But we're right now, we had 25, we had 26, 7, 8, 9, and 3,000. Now I've got $3,000. Who'd give $3,250? $3,200 now, but how about 31? $3,100 now, but get 31 more, now, but one more, now, but one, $3,100. $3,100 now, but get one more, now, but one more, now, but one more, now, but $3,100 bid for it. $3,100. At $3,100 now, but get 31, now, but one more, now, but $3,100 bid. $3,000 now, 31. Got $3,000 now, but 31. I think some online buyer there, number with ending in 1321. You are out. 3,100. And we got a lot of online bidders, but several of them are out. Who'd give 31? At $3,100. 31 to bid a buy, but a buy, but a buy, but a 3,100. 31 to buy, but a buy, but to get 31 now, but a one, now, but a one, now, but now this is an awfully good tract of land for the money. Believe me, I'll tell you what, the guys just told you about some of the high sales going around and all over the Midwest. Unbelievable. Now, I'll tell you what, the only difference between those high prices of that land and this land is this one here is really reasonable here today. So help yourself. Don't pass it up. I've got 3,000. Who gave 3,100? 3,100 now, but get 31. 31 now, but a 2. 31 now, but a 2. Now, I got 31 online. Now, we get 32. 32 now, we get 2. Now, we get 2. Now, we get 2. Now, we get 2. A lot of you guys are still out at 32. Now, 3. At 32 now, 300. Now, we get 3. Now, but a 3. Now, but a $300 bid for it. 32 now, 300. At 32 now, 300. Now, we get 3. Now, but a 3. Now, but a 3. Now, but a $300 bid. I got 32 now, 3. At 32 now, 3. Bidder 321. You are out at 31 now, 2 or 32 now, 3 at 3 now, but a 3 now, but a 3 now, but a $300 for it. 32 now, 300 at 32 now, but a 300 now, but a get 3 now, but a 3 now, but a 3 now, but a this is a combination farm. Not only do you have good tillable land, but you also have great deer hunting. Obviously, because all the deer stands out there, somebody's enjoyed a lot of deer hunting on this property, and that could be you. They got 32 now, 300. Got 300 at 300 now. We get 3 now, but a 3 now, but a $300 bid for it. 32 now, 3 at 32 now, 300 now. We get 3 now, but a 3 now, but a $300 bid. 3,200 now, 3 at 3 now, but a 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 300. 32 now, 3 at 3,200 now, 3 at 3,200 now, 3 now, but a 3 now, but a 3 now. This is way under the money. We all know that. But if that's the verdict, that's the verdict. Got 32, now 3. Got 32, now but a $300, now we get 3, now but a $300 bid for it. 3,200, now 3. Got 3,200, now 3, now but a 3, now but a 3, now but a $300 for it. 3,200, now 3. 3,200, now 3, now but a 3, now but a 3. You know what I like to do at this time, about this time? I know we're going to take a little recess here. I'm going to turn it back over to the fellas here. They're going to talk about this farm. And I want you people to understand here, you're here today to buy this farm. Go right ahead and help yourself. At this kind of money, I'm telling you, it's really, really reasonable. So I'm just going to turn it back over to them. We're going to talk a little bit about this farm. We're going to take a couple-minute recess.
Thanks, Craig. So to recap here, we started off at $2,500 an acre, and we're now all the way up to $3,200 an acre. And this is a great little farm. If you guys don't know anything, I've got Keith here, who is our agronomy expert. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about. Let's get into the details about this farm exactly, and why an operator would want this particular type of farm.
Well, I guess you take a look at it in terms of the soil map. It tells a really good story. I mean, you're looking at 39% of the ground is a Parsons loam. The other, there's 15% of the Braden loam, and then there's a Barco loam, two different versions. There's an eroded at 13%, another Barco at 12%. So actually that makes up 25% of the ground is either going to be, if you add those two together, is Barco, or going to be Parsons loam, which tells me that it's going to hold its water. It's really going to maintain the soil really nicely and keep those nutrients in place. That's a big thing for me. I know Missouri's been dealing with some drought issues the last few years, much like we have here in southeastern Minnesota.
We all have, yeah. Iowa too.
And this kind of ground, in my opinion, if I had a customer that was going for something, this is a great piece. I mean, you got adequate drainage with a major set of waterways working its way through, and you take a look at the soil test. I can't say enough good things about taking soil tests. It really tells the entire story of what's going on. Across the board on phosphorus, P1 and P2, we're looking at very high to high levels. When it comes to magnesium, potassium, and calcium, we're all sitting on the high level to very high. But for me in soil tests, I always go to cation exchange capacity, because basically it sums everything up between organic matter and nutrient holding capacity and everything, shoves it into one good clear number. And for me, I'm looking for something between an 8 to a 20 as being good. And right now for a cation exchange capacity, we're looking at a 9.5, a 9.4, a 9.3. This is a really nice piece of ground. If I was a farmer, an operator, I was looking to purchase something, this is something I would really go for, because we're going to hold our moisture, we're going to hold our nutrients in place, we got adequate drainage, and year in and year out, these types of ground are very productive, at least from what I've been able to see.
Well, everything you're saying, just like you said, you got great drainage, you've got great soil. I mean, and you've got pretty good access, overall to this farm, and then you've got within close proximity, you've got what are
the elevators.
The elevators.
I mean, you're 20 minutes away with asphalt. You have access to a tar road, plus 20 minutes away from the nearest location to be able to unload at. I mean, not only that, you already got a wheat crop that's already seeded down for this spring. So I mean,
perfect for next spring. Yep.
Yeah, I think you can't set a table much better when it comes to looking at a piece of property than this. I mean, for me, in my opinion, it ticks off a lot of the things that I look for when I'm talking to growers and talking to people about diversifying what they have for their farming operation. This is one of those pieces that really offers you a lot of safety and consistency.
Yeah. Well, for you bidders out there, if you guys are on the fence right here, I mean, listen to Keith. I mean, he knows these farms. He knows these farms really well. This is what he specializes in, is looking at these types of things. And this is a great farm. So hopefully you guys get out there, bid a little bit more. But we're going to pass it back to Greg here and get this auction going again.
We had a little recess there. Everybody get a chance to think about this beautiful little farm. We still have only 3,200. Who'd give $3,300? At 32, now 3,200 now, but a $300 now, but you get $300 bid. Now we got several people online. I'll tell you what, you're just it's a Tuesday morning. Everybody's a little slow this morning, but I want you to sit and think about this farm. Do you have any farms down in that area just at $3,200, $3,300? No, you don't. Not with that kind of production, that kind of history, and also that kind of deer hunting. Now, I'll tell you what, farms in Missouri just stuffed with woods on are selling for $5,000-$6,000 an acre. So I want you to help yourself. If you're interested in buying this farm, you just get right on it and jump right on it. We got 32. Now, who get 3,300? Got 32 now, $300 now. We get $300 bid for it. 32 now, 3 now, but a 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 $300 bid. 32 now, 300. Got $300 now. We get $300 for it. 32 and 3. Got 32 now, 3 now, but a $300 for it. Up at a 32 now, 3. Got 300. Got 300 now. We get 3 now, but a $300 bid for it. We get 33. 33 now. We get 32 now, 3 now. We get 3 now, but a 3 now. We get 32 now, 300. Got 3,200 now, 3. Got 32 now, 3 now, but a 3 now. But I don't know what everybody's waiting for. I really, really don't. I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Wished I Woulda Club. I'm a member of that myself. There's a lot of people that are. You get up in the morning, you go home tonight, and you say, I should have bought that farm. I wished I would have, but I didn't. Why didn't you? I've been in this auction business 50 years, and I get asked more times, why didn't you push me on buying that farm? I should have bought that farm last year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And I always tell them, all I can do is ask you. I can push you. I can't hold a gun to your head. Now, you guys and gals that are out there online watching this farm, you know this thing is priced right. Now, just get right in there and start bidding. Now, I had 32. Now I got 33 and 34. Who'd give 3,500? $3,500 now. We get $3,500 bid. 34 now, 5. 34 is the bid. Now 5. 285. You're out. 34 now, 5. High number to 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 5. 34 now, 5. Up 3,400 now, 5. High number to 5. High number to help yourself here, people. Help yourself. 34 now, 5. Able to 5. High number to 5. High number to 5. High number to 500 bid for it. 3,400 now, 5. That 3,400 now, 5. High number to 5. High number to 5. High number to 5. 34 now, 5. 34 now, 5. And you know what? All the years I've been in the auction business, I've never had anybody come up to me and say they regretted buying a farm, whether it's private or at auction. But I've had hundreds and hundreds of people come up and tell me they regretted not buying the farm. Now, you can either be one side or the other there. Now, that is a fact. We've got 3,400. Now, who gave 35? Hot 3,500. Hot 35. Now, we get 35. We get 35. We get 35. 34 now, 500. Now, we get $500 bid for it. 34 now, 500. Hot 34 now, but a 5. High number to 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 5 for 34 now, 500. 34 now, 500. Now, we get 500. Now, we get 5. High number to 5. High number to 5. Help yourself here. 34 now, 5. Hot 5. High number to 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 500. Hot 34 now, 5. Hot 34 now, 5. Hey, but a 5. High number to 5. High number to 5. High number to 5 for it. 34 now, 500. Hot 34 now, 500. Now, we get 5. High number to 500 bid. 34 now, 5. Hey, but a 5. High number to 5. High number to 5. High number to 5. High number. You know what, guys? I'm going to do it again. We're going to have a little recess. These people need a little more time to think about this farm before we drop the hammer on it. We got 3,400. Now, I'm going to turn it back over to the guys. They're going to talk a little bit more about this farm. We're going to have another 2-minute recess. Or maybe 5 minutes.
Thanks, Craig. So just to recap there, we were 32. Now we're at $3,400 an acre, asking for 35. But I want to turn to Craig Borchard with Ascent Financial, and I want to break down some of the financials about this farm. And so that way some of these buyers can understand a little bit more about maybe even some of these, investors that are out there that are looking for a farm to possibly rent out and get a return on. So break down some of these financials for some of these buyers that are watching here today.
Yeah, sure, Tyler. So I did an analysis where I looked at kind of what the farm would produce. In this area, it's very common to do the 2/3, 1/3 crop share. So in that situation, in the 2/3, 1/3 crop share with a 1/3 going to the property owner and the bean yield of last year, 55 bushels per acre, that'd be about a $309.54 return to that investor or the landowner in that case.
And so that's a flex lease essentially. Then
It's very similar.
You know,
Yep.
Yeah, very similar. Kind of like what we do with when we're managing a lot of these farms
Correct.
as well with land pros. So that's the $309 for a crop share on this. I mean, it's not quite the flex lease there, but similar. You know, where
Similar. Yep.
you know, with the gross revenue obviously being 2/3 more than that. So you're only taking a third of that, but that's some great rent money right there.
It is, you know, and cash rents, you know, in this area can be $100 to $150 depending on kind of the individual circumstances. But, you know, really we look at this, and if you were to buy it and hold it and have these types of returns for the next 10 years, you know, we're talking about a 20% plus return, you know, over annualized per year.
Absolutely.
So, and that's looking at, you know, 6.5% annual land appreciation, which is, I think, conservative, you know, and seeing how crop prices continue to go up over time as well. So driving that. I think the other important thing to think about here is how cropland has done generally. You know, when we look at what crop prices have done over the last 30 plus years, you know, in Iowa, as kind of an easy standard, you know, they've gone up quite a bit. But I think the interesting way to look at this is what is the growth of $10,000, you know, over that period of time. And in that case, you know, since from 1972, if you were to invest $10,000 to today, we're talking about a return. It would now be worth $202,000, which is a great return.
Yeah,
over
that's
that
phenomenal.
period of time.
And you can see in your graph there, those the darker spots are kind of we had a little bit more of a downturn.
That's where there was a
economy.
recession in the economy.
Yeah,
So, you know,
yeah.
farmland has done well through recessions, you know, over the last 30, 40 years.
and especially here in the last 10 years, especially.
Especially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And I think the other important thing to think about too is, you know, I have a lot of clients who are trying to buy farmland. And, you know, they're trying to do 1031 exchanges and they just can't find it. There just isn't enough out there to buy.
Yeah.
I think that's a big driver of all of this.
Yeah, well, we've certainly got a market here where, like as we stated in the very beginning with the land market update, prices are still doing very, very well despite you know, a little bit of inflation, some higher interest rates. Things are still trending upwards. Yet we're still not seeing a ton of these farms, you know, necessarily come to the market as much because you know, these are still great producing farms. They're family farms. I mean, some of these farms don't turn over for 100 years, you know, so every now and then, you know, we get a farm. I look at a farm like this that's for sale here today, this 80 acres here, and you've got a great producing farm. You can get a great rent out of this thing consistently every single year. Just like Keith said, it's got great drainage. It's got great soils. You know, it's got pretty good access overall, elevators within 20 minutes. I mean, this is a great little farm. And then it's got, you know, what I love, it's got a little hunting to go along with it as well.
Yeah.
So a little caveat on top of that. But so anyways, we're going to send this right here to break and come back to Greg, and we're going to get this auction going again and hopefully get this farm here sold.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You know, I love recesses. Gives everybody a chance to think about what they're doing. Of course, when you're buying a farm, it's always a big deal. It's not like going and buying a loaf of bread. You got to think about it. Since we had 34 before the recess, we got 35, 36 now. Who gave $3,700? 36, now $700. I'll tell you what, this thing is way under the money. We got 36, now 7. Hot $700 now, would he get 700? $700 now, would he get 7? Now, would he get 7? Now, would he get $700 bid for it? 36 now, 7. Hot 36 now, 7. Now, would he get 700? Now, would he get 700? Hot 36 to bid, now 7. Hot 7. Now, would he get $700 bid for it? 36 and now 7. 700 now, would he get 7? Now, would he get 7? Now, would he get 700? Hot 700. 36 and now 7. Now, would he get 7? I'll tell you what, we might have to have another recess. 36 now 7. Hot 700 now, would he get 7? Now, would he get 700? 700 to bid, to buy him, to $700 bid for it. 36 now 700. Got 36 and now 7. Hot 7. Now I got 4,000. Thank you. Whoa, there we go. Now 41. How about 42? Hot 4,000. Now would he get 42? 2. Now would he get 2? Now would he get 2? Now would he get 42? 42, 2, now would he get 2? Now would he get 2? Now would he get 42? Hot 4,000. Now 42. You're all out, the other bidders. 4,000. Now 42. 41. Now 2. Hot 41. Now would he do 2? Now would he get 2? Now would he get 2? Now would he get 41 and 2? 4,100 now 2. Hot 41. Now would he do 2? Now would he get 2? Now would he get 2? Now would he get 2? Now help yourself here. Hot 41. Now 2. Hot 41. Now 2. Now would he get 2? Now would he get 41 and 2? Hot 41 and 2. do 2. Now I'm going to get 41. Now 2. At 41, I'm going to do 2. Now I'm going to get 2. Now I'm going to get 2. Now I'm going to get 4,100 the bid. Now 42. At 42, 2. Now I'm going to get 2. Now I'm going to get 41 and 2. 41, I'm going to do 2. Now I'm going to get 2. Now I'm going to get 41. Now 2. At 41, I'm going to do 2. Now I'm going to get 2. Now I'm going to get 4,100. Now 200. At 41, now I'll tell you what. This is where we should have started the bid, is at about 4,041. I'll tell you, this thing is probably worth 55.6 all day long. Help yourself here today, people. Really, what can you buy with that quality of soil, that amount of tillable for this kind of money? Now, over in northwest Iowa, they're selling stuff 25, 28, 30,000 an acre. Now, I'm going to tell you, maybe it's a little better soil type. Maybe it is. But can it be $25,000 an acre better? No way. Absolutely not. I'm telling you, this is a good buy for the community out there, and one of you is probably going to own this farm. Now, all you got to do is bid on it. We got 41. Now, would you give 42? 4,200 out of now, would you give 42? 2, now would you get 2? Now would you get 42? You know, guys, I'm going to have another recess. I love those recesses. We're getting close to the end here. I got 4,100. We're going to hold the bid there, and I'm going to turn it over to these guys. We're going to talk a little bit more about this farm. We're going to give everybody a little bit more chance to think about what they're doing on this great little farm. Thank you. There you go, fellas.
Hey, thanks, Greg. So just to recap here, we are at 34, and we have gone all the way up to $4,100 an acre. So we are getting some more spirited bidding in this thing. Obviously, I think that some of these buyers are starting to realize, and we noticed a couple new buyers that jumped in as well. Some of these buyers are starting to realize this is a good deal. And just like you alluded to, great drainage, great farm. But why don't you is there some more here we can give to these buyers out there? Some more information there that maybe they wouldn't necessarily know, just by looking at the website or anything like that.
It's looking at what you have for tillable acres. That's the big thing. You're looking at a 65 acre chunk with a 0 to a 5% slope to it. So, when we're dealing with equipment from my standpoint, we're getting some of these bigger draper heads, and you're looking for better cutting ability when it comes to soybeans, corn, and winter wheat and those kinds of things. This is going to give you the ability to really harvest everything that's currently sitting there. The other thing that's intriguing is there's some mature timber on it. That's the one thing I always tell people to take a look at when we're purchasing property is look at what's completely and totally there. Mm-hmm. It's more like when we get into the Mississippi River Valley areas, we find a lot of pieces that look similar to this in a lot of respects, but there's a lot of mature timber on it. So it gives you the ability to be able to harvest something off and being able to generate a little bit more income on the short term. Yeah. And that's, timber has always been a long-term investment, and that's one of those things you really got to take into consideration.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love these combination farms. because you have so many different uses that you can do. It's not just, and I get it. Some operators just like, hey, just make it open here. Just let me run the tractor, be able to go straight on through. I get that, but these farms, they offer so much more. Just like if you're going to own this farm here, you're going to be able to have you're going to have great returns, great tillable, great soil there. But you also, like I said, you got some great hunting. You have, potential to maybe go harvest some mature timber off the thing over the years. But you can really make something like this a family farm, where everybody can enjoy it. It's not just an income producing farm. This is something that you can go out there and enjoy with the family all together.
Mm-hmm. And that's the whole thing about land. When we make an investment on something like this, it's really something it's a generational investment more than anything else. Yep. It's the whole idea behind being a farmer is we turn it down to the next generation. We always make the land better than it was before. Mm-hmm. And, when you have something like this, there's, you have the opportunity to be able to pass it on to generations to come, because the productivity on something like this is really there. You look at what the track record has been in terms of soybean production for the area, and this has been sitting in a drought scenario, is still sitting at 60 or 58 to 60 bushel yields. I would really kill for that in this area when we get into drought scenarios.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Like I said,
because I think the average is 41. I think in the county. I think they said
right.
Yeah,
right.
So this is compared to the rest of the county, this is a great farm.
Oh, definitely. It's, if you're gonna position yourself as a producer, even as a person that's an investor, this is a great piece of property to be able to do that, because you have something that's going to generate income over a period of time and actually do it consistently. And with where commodity prices are at,
and consistency is the key word, right?
Yes. Yep. That's the one thing that we never talk about is consistency and productivity.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ground out there that just doesn't measure up. But this is one of those pieces of property in my mind, in my eyes, will measure up in that direction, especially given the commodity prices and how things are coming up, and the report that just came out from the USDA not that long ago. I mean, things are strong right now.
Yeah,
things are very strong.
From where this thing is producing and where the bid price is, I mean, we're seeing stuff that is selling for way higher across the Midwest with productivity numbers just like this one. So this is a great buy right now. I mean, no matter what, if you're a buyer out there and you're thinking about buying a property, this is a great buy right now. You need to start bidding. This is a great buy. I've seen across the Midwest farms that are producing very, very similar to this, definitely selling higher than this one. So get in there and start to bid. We're going to take another short break here, and then we're going to get right back to the auction.
Ladies and gentlemen, we came here for one reason today, and that's to sell this farm, and we're going to do it. There's going to be a new owner. So if you want to buy this farm, don't go get a cup of coffee or go down to McDonald's and get a sandwich, because when you come back, it's going to be gone. Gone. I've got 4,100. There's going to be a new owner here today, and if you want to buy this farm, you're going to have to bid 42, and then we're going to wrap it up pretty quick here. We got 41. Now we get 4,200. 41, and now we get 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 41 and 2. 4,100, now 2. Hot 41, now but a 2. Now we get 200 out of bid for it. 41, now but a 2. Now we get 2. And if you're done, we're done. We are going to sell this farm. There's going to be a new owner to here today. It's going to be done. It's going to be gone. It's going to be sold. Now, we got 41. Now we get 4,200. Hot 4,200. Now we get 42. All you other bidders, here's your chance, and it's the last one. 41. Now 2. Hey, but a 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 41 and 2. 41 and 2. Hot 4,100. Now but a 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 41. Now 200. Hot 41. Now but a 200. Now we get 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 200 out of bid. 41, now 200. Hot 41, now but a 200 out of now, but get 200 out of bid for it. 4,100 now 2. Hot 4,100 now but a 200 now, but get 2. Now but get 2. Now but get 2. Now but get 2. I'd like to thank all of our bidders, all of our online watchers on AuctionCast here today, and we are going to wrap this up in just a little bit. But if you're still watching and still online and you want to buy this farm, you're going to have to do it pretty quick, because I am going to sell this farm. I've got 41, now 4,200. Hot 4,200, now we get to 4,200. Bidder 374. You are out. 321, you're out. All right, what do you get? 42. Hot 42, now we get 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 42. Hot 4,200. If you're done, we're done. 41, 2. 41 and 2. 4,100. Now but a 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 2. Now no more recesses. We are all done. We're going to sell this farm right now. 41, now 2. One more time, we're going to ask you all. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give you about 30 seconds. Somebody want to count this down on a 30-second deal? We're going to count it down, and then we're going to sell it. We got 30 seconds to go. 41, now 2. Hot 41, now but a 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 2. 4,100 a bid, and now but a 42, and you'll buy them. Hot 42 to bid, a buy them, at a 2. Now we get 2. Now but a 4,100. Now 200. Hot 200. Now we get 2. Now we get 200 out of bid for it. 41. Now but a 2. Now we get 2. Now but a 4,100. Now 2. 41. Now 2. Hot 41. Now but a 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 41 and 2. 41 and 2. 41 and 2. Now we get 2. Now we get 2. Now but we're almost done here. 41 2. 41 2. We're coming to the end of the line. Is it all up? 41 and 2. 41 and 2. Sold. $4,100. We want to congratulate the new buyer. We want to thank all our contending bidders. We want to thank the people who are watching. If you're thinking about selling a farm, get a hold of us here at Land Pros AuctionCast. We would love to handle your farm for you today or any day, so in the future. And I don't know, is there anything else we got to wrap up here, boys? You guys got anything to talk about over there?
Great job, Greg. Just to recap here a little bit, we started off at $2,500 an acre here with this thing, and we ended up getting all the way to $4,100 an acre. But still, I think somebody got a great buy out of this farm. I mean, this is a great little farm, just as like we were talking about before. With everything, this is great drainage, great access, great soils, all the above. A little bit, a family farm where somebody can go hunt and everything else. So great little farm. The new buyer's certainly going to enjoy this farm without a doubt. But before we get on that, so Craig, what do we have for kind of a breakdown here on this sale here? Because at $4,100 an acre, what does this look like?
Sure, Tyler. At $4,100 an acre, we're looking at a total sale price of approximately $328,000, and that comes in at about $5,046.15 per tillable acre. So a good sale.
Yeah, absolutely a great sale. Absolutely a great sale. Well, we would like to thank all of our bidders that participated today. We'd like to especially thank our sellers for trusting us to auction off your property today. Brady will be in touch shortly with our buyers as well. But before, our auction calendar is filling up fast. We have our next auction coming up on February 7th at 10 a.m. It's 223 acres in Steele County, Minnesota. On February 7th as well at 2 p.m., 188 acres in Dakota, Minnesota. Next, on February 8th at 10 a.m., 821 acres in Hartley County, Texas. And on February 8th, again at 2 p.m., 53 acres in Mower County, Minnesota. Now on February 11th, 10:30 a.m., in-person only auction in Shelby County, Indiana. On February 18th at 10 a.m., an in-person auction as well in Freeborn County, Minnesota. Then on February 21st at 10 a.m., 257 acres in Steele County, Minnesota. And again on the 21st at 2 p.m., 141.2 acres in Dakota County, Minnesota. And last is 85 acres on the 22nd in Dodge County, Minnesota. So we've got a full month in the month of February there for AuctionCast. So folks, if you're thinking about buying or selling, keep Land Pros at the top of your list. You can connect with our team at landpros.com or the number on the screen at any time. Thanks again for joining us here at Land Pros AuctionCast, and have a great rest of your day.
A streamlined way with great team members to serve sellers and buyers.
Sold $20,500.
Live broadcast of an auction that we bring to them.
Sold. Property's choice. You can buy parcel 1, parcel 2, or parcel 3.
$5,000 offered. What do you give me? $5,500 and $5,000 down here. $55 down, $6,000 and $6,000 down here.
You've always heard in the real estate world, location. Well, that also comes into play when you talk farmland.
Increase in value, and its value is only going to increase over time. The numbers I said before are at 6.5%, which is the 50-year average annual appreciation in farmland.
An AuctionCast method with all of these wonderful things brought to the seller and buyer.